Hello, my learned friends. We have returned for more investigating. Last time, things happened that were less than ideal. But not the worst thing that's happened to me and Ace Attorney, you know? Like, I've been through it, and we're kind of chilling right now. Not sure what there'll be to discover. Whew, we made it back in one piece. Just. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while.
Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There's so many carriages on the streets of London. You were very nearly flattened several times.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruto-san. Naruto. Ha! It really was. I was in awe of you.
Thank you?
And now, your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time. Let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow.
Yes, let's do that.
Is everything alright?
I suppose. I still can't quite believe it, that's all. That I'm here in England working as a lawyer. I mean, in the Old Bailey, no less. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Katsuma.
It was Katsuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him.
Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
And you're doing wonderfully, Naruto-san. I've no doubt that Katsuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us.
Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you.
I miss him so much.
Alright, let's get out of here. You want to go over stuff? Really? I guess we'll just go over everything. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand.
I know.
Not only that, but then finding out that he is actually a barefaced gas thief as well.
Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea.
Careful of your phrasing, Susato-san. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this Mr. Shamspear than we yet know. I'm sure of it.
Mr. Shamspear certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first.
What's become of him, actually?
I was told that he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment.
Oh, which one is that?
Let me see. Ah, yes. He's at St. Bartholomew's? Or Bart's as Londoners call it.
Thank goodness. We know that place, don't we?
Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken.
Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back.
Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruto-san. He didn't stab anyone.
Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But as he isn't the culprit, then obviously...
Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea.
But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspear's body?
I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help solve the mystery.
Well, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over the place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think.
Definitely.
And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap. Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. Katsuma-ski, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. Oh, we're getting a flashback?
I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with.
Yeah, nice things.
As a stowaway? Yes, you could fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Katsuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. That you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me, I guarantee it. But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world. The city at the forefront of everything. Can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... What? One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Do I repeat my theory now? Remember when he was defending me in court, he completely gave up. And the only reason I got out of that mess is because I didn't give up on myself. If it had only been him talking and he had represented me, we would have lost. That's the first thing. This situation, obviously I don't know, there's a whole government conspiracy thing. But again, what if, I don't know, I feel like he set this up. I don't even want to speak it. I won't even speak it. We're just going to keep going. You can watch my theory video if you want to know my thoughts. But I think he was a little insecure. Naruhado-san? Sorry, I was just thinking about Katsuma. Yes, he's forever in my thoughts too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yes, that's right, but... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. That's what I'm saying! I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then. That's all. What are you thinking, Ryunosuke? Because I got some theories. Naruhado-san, what do you mean by Katsuma-sama's real intentions? I mean this. Wait a minute. I forgot about that. His katana? I never expected to inherit this sword after Katsuma passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes, actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. I don't like where this is leading to. Is he trying to wage war or something? Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asuki clan. Oh yeah, I remember this. Okay. The Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kuruma guides me. I truly believe that. Was he trying to start a war? So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. Like, Britain's not great. And they're very mean to us, specifically. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Or maybe he's trying to get vengeance on somebody. Something you have to do? Does this have to do with Van Zeeks? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see through it to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Is he in Britain? Is he alive? What did he mean by something very important that I have to do? I had hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue. I see. And apparently has something to do with this case. Guys, I'm not comfortable with this. Okay, anyway. Alright. Let's start with Sholmes. Oh my goodness. Guys, I can't talk about Cosmo, bro. Like, there's too many possibilities and none of them are good. It's like almost best case scenario that he's dead. Which, I don't want that. Oh, Runo and Susie, hooray, you're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am? And you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Stop. Well, you couldn't have come at a better time. Really? Thanks, Iris. But actually, what is that foul smell? Ah, the Wanderers return at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court. Oh, for Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it? I have his gloves today, guys. I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you think you did. Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zeek's an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruto. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes. Whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh dear. Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Lord Barak Van Zeeks. Yes, it's an interesting what? The Reaper of the Bailey? Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later that hapless soul will vanish from the capital. But vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in flames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or quite out of the blue being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit, for the time being at least. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hand. As it happens, Mr. Sato, that is quite impossible. Oh? Why? Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, when these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast-iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued, but 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruto. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection, and really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again. Poor Reno. I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky, or incredibly unlikable. I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people. You don't say! No! Shoot, Sherlock. Yeah, let's talk about this. With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as Miss Usato and myself, I felt it even more keenly in court today. It was more obvious today, I will say. For some reason, Lord Van Zeke seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed, it is an interesting observation. Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Schultz? Come on, spill the tea, bro. It was about 10 years ago that Brock Van Zeeks chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan. So he got betrayed and then decided all people that even look like this dude are scum. That's healthy. No. What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? Come on. I believe I made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair. Oh, but... The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Mustache whom is most deserving of your attention, I believe. Okay. So what is that incredibly foul smell? Ah, well, most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is of course my latest invention. A chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea? What? Oh my! There are some unscrupulous sorts of manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor. Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior. So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris? At the ready, Holly! Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? It turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed, the blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor. The better the tea is. It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Daji. That's very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now? Why, dispose of it naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you? There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes. Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madame. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science, in the world of criminal investigation also. Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times. I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock-Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicant was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. Ugh. Fine. Sure. So your tea test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases, then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there. I hadn't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes? There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds. No, what I'm researching is skin prints. Skin prints. A nomenclature of my own design as this chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes! As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Great. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, Runo. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Sholmes, we were thinking you to come with us. You were? Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we'd witnessed your forensic talents in action? Ah, yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later, in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye-bye, Runo. Bye, Susie. Oh my goodness. Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the score. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it? Yeah, we found it, alright. There's a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. So the identification section at the yard now, they're looking into it. The results should be available later today. There probably will be poison in it or something stupid. That's wonderful news, thank you. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing, forget it. You make sure you don't disturb anything in here. So we can't do anything right now? Oh, okay, good. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? It's a time for investigating. What a question indeed! Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing in here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems. Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madame. Oh boy. What's all this? What are you doing? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Norhado. Herlock Sholmes, sensational screen print seeker gun. What? Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shamspeare's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There, now spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed. Spray? How? How do I do that exactly? A little press of the space of the area you're interested in is all that's required. Like this. Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. It's the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Okay, interesting. What else can we do? Look! There's dozens of handprints here. So there are. A great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact. It sends chills down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired the picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all. And without wishing this to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Miss Susato. It's a bit of a mystery, then. I'm just spraying everything. Ah! Spray the cobweb. Oh, wait. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Anything else? We haven't sprayed much. How about that? Interesting, interesting. Anything I haven't sprayed yet? What's that? Anything else? Okay. Wait. Okay, I definitely didn't spray something I'm supposed to. What am I missing? Chair? No? Okay. I don't know what else to spray. You can spray the floor more, I guess. Oh, look at all these here. Ah, yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints. Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there? I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? We did, but there are two places in particular that are of interest, I would say. The handprints on the floor there, and on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. I won't be a moment. Ah! What is it? Look here, Mr. Naruto. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place? Haha! Excellent work, Miss Susato. So, what do we have in here? Oi! What you lot doing? Inspector Gregson, stand aside right this minute. It's my job, stop. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips whilst we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you can make use of in Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw tatami mat. No, I know. But I never expected one of those wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there too. Aren't you curious? I'll investigate at once. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. But then, how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think of why anyone would have been touching the wall over there, over and over in one place like that. There you are! Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints too. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know. So am I. Hello. I want to talk to you. Hey. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson! Really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. That's so sad. Ah, dismal failure. So funny. Yes, I heard. Okay, A dismal failure, he says. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. Suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me up to be some kind of nut. Hey, you have 3 items on the floor there. A newspaper clipping, photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? I'd like to see the photograph. So, this is the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Yes, it would appear to have been taken out of the street in front of the house here. The gentleman on the left is Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, of course. Who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garadeb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true? I've seen him. Wait a minute. That lady that got stabbed in the back. There was a picture of that guy there. I don't know what that means, but I remember him. Well, it's too bad if we do. Fortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. Okay. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. Okay. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamsbury himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garadeb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Looks like it was cut out of the paper 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving up time in the Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got to him first. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I just thought of something. Sholmes was on that ship. Sholmes knows something about Katsumo. I just suspect he knows something. No way he just happened to be on that ship with us. What was he doing there? He knows something. Anyway. He'd committed a capital offense? A man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece to work into. Burglaries and murder. They said he knocked off what was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Of treasure, you mean? Jewellery and the like. But he'd hidden it somewhere. No one knows where. Now he's dead. The papers loved it, of course. £1,000 en route to hell, something such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? I suppose now you mention it, it does seem odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we got in Selden back in the yard and see if I can turn anything up. This tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funny enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shakespeare! Give us a clue, man!
Everything he says is just so funny.
Okay. You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruto. But anyways, at least we found what's inside the box. So I'm trying to have a little bit. That's better.
Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside.
Is there nothing more to this box then? I wonder.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty cat. What's his name?
It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call him, Wargai? Isn't that what we named it last time? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat.
Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wargai?
I'm really butchering your name, aren't I?
Here's something delicious I brought for you, from the cat's meat man.
Can we name him Katsuma? Please? Please? He's my new best friend.
He couldn't be happier now, look.
I just hope he can bring some happiness to his owner, too. Okay, are we supposed to move yet? Okay. I think we should go to the hospital. If it's an option. It's not an... Oh, wait, there it is. Because that picture is of the same guy. And I'm suspicious. Oh, the mouse is still here.
What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance.
Yes, I hear angry voices.
Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily, thou art mistaken. Mistaken my foot. You were looking at my painting. The eye of a man hath not heard. The ear of a man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gave it me. Forgive me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison. God have mercy, ample lady, but thou seest. I have vigor still. Behold my sham spear dance.
This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Hello.
Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now?
What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspear?
Mary, I do believe I'm returned into another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing. Looking at my terrible work. Eastern fellow, so darkly clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee.
Oh, well, thank you.
But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? Non-actions!
Suspicious. Mr. Shamspear might technically be the victim in this case. But there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down.
I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person.
Miss Green, is everything alright?
Oh, yes. I mean, don't worry about me.
She poisoned him. That's why she was walking by.
They're about to just charge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see.
We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it.
Hold on. I would like... Oh, you... Wait, can I? Okay. Okay, good. I'm like, I want to look at that photo again. Look!
Look, there's a photograph. I called it! Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. He looks to be about the same age. Uh-huh. Perhaps the young woman's special someone. Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. It's the same photo. Wait. It's the same guy. Hold on. Come here. I gotta show you something. So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green? I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me. Well, yes. It really was an ordeal, wasn't it? As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly. Really? Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged. Oh yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Wait! No! I need to show you the picture I found. Oh, y'all are sneaking. What's that? That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though. I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her. Alright then, let's see what's inside. Change of clothes, no doubt, and... No, Mr. Naruto. You must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings. But the young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits or cardboard. That's a mood. Okay, can I talk to you? I want to present... Oh, because guys, look at this photo. It's the same guy. It's him! And I can't do anything about it. I guess I'm not supposed to do anything about it yet. Oh, that's so annoying. Alright, I guess we gotta move. I can't believe they won't let me present it to Miss Green. I'm so mad. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruto, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruto, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring it back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? There you go. I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world! What's gonna become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious. My accursed soul is never gonna escape this accursed fate. Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope. Yes. Locum's Mr. Naruto Esquire was brilliant, but the Reaper is omnipresent, in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes. Yes, we must. I would like to present this photo to you, maybe. Maybe you'll know who this is. It's nothing much, but... okay. Okay. So he's not gonna look at it either. I'm really annoyed because I know that those... Was I not supposed to know that? In my whole life, I've ever been so moved as I was today. No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two occasions that moved me more. But I just blocked those out then today. being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life, locum student Mr. Naruto, Esquire.
You're too kind.
Scotland Yard found the remaining tea, just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak. There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's it. Solemn, sworn, Suzuki, certainty.
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies.
And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspear then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then.
That rotten Shamspear! What have I ever done to him?
You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all!
Right.
But what I don't understand is why you didn't let me know sooner.
Let you know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soap, of course. What else?
Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am. If I had money, I would have chosen to live in a cursed existence in such a cursed lodgings.
Oh yes. You said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly. Especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place, and it's trying to kill me.
Capital offender?
Might I ask, locum student Naruto, Esquire, the next time you visit me, you'll bring scores of super soft soaps.
Was that guy, the blonde guy, is he the guy that we keep talking about? Or is he Shamspear? I've run out of things to talk to you about. What can I present? Okay, you can't present the photo. Here's some soap. Mr. Natsume, what do you know about this?
There it is! That lathery lowlife that took my neighbor's life and sent me sliding to the depths of despair. Slippery, slickety, psychotic, solitaire.
What? You've really gone off soap, haven't you?
Absolutely. And I've made up my mind. The next time someone gives me soap as a present, it's friendship, finish, firmly, forever.
I don't know that we can blame soap for everything that's happened, Mr. Natsume. Is any of this useful to present to you? Do you know what this is about? Okay, I guess we have it. Okay, so what do I need to present to you? Oh, he mentioned the capital offender too. Okay. What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspear's room.
Ah, so he knew, did he?
Sorry?
About this man, Selden. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable, mustached, much maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. I forgot about the newspaper.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now, and at the time he was hiding out in the lodgings at Mr. Garrett's house.
What? He lived where? Where do you know?
That's right, yes, exactly where I live now. In my very room. Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense? But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse.
What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the outside. Inside.
Locked from the inside. Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, huh? Is it?
Yes, well, that was the start of it.
The start?
What? What sayest you about the start of a curse?
Do you have any idea how long the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Oh, gas?
I only found that after I signed the lease. When Mr. Gerda came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily, legal!
Lucky for Mr. Gerda, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume.
And now you believe this curse is affecting you?
It is! It is!
At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just one of my struggling to breathe, I wake up. And the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold? He doesn't pay for the heating.
London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
But that's terrible. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident that can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garadeb's rooms? I don't know. Okay, can we move now? Okay, I guess let's go visit Mr. Garadeb. Suspicious. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garadeb.
Right bally business it is for me, you know, getting out and about.
Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance?
Naturally, fate of my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss.
The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes.
Of course, places caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. Has the old haunted lodgings or some such?
Ah, well, at least he knows.
Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know?
Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago, you were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened.
Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business.
I see.
So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor, chap of a questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse.
The convict's curse, you mean?
Ah, heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here. Then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can you?
When you say the woman who dropped dead outside the street, do you mean Mrs. Green? Because Mrs. Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamspeare, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still.
Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems.
Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why, it sounds like a lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that.
Well, there's no bath or toilet included. No fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here. Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps and such like. I think you've had your mishap already, sir. It's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me. The words just came to my lips. Alright. How about your lodgers? Some fishy fella from the Far East and a failed actor. Chap of questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Garrett. That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shamsbury been lodging under your roof? Have failed actor chap. Let's see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months? He's quite new here then, too. And to what do you owe your courtesy in that regard, Mr. Goverdeb, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Shamsbury have some kind of connection, then? That convict chap Selden passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other. Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedy showed its face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, 'tis world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamsbury, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor offered here, well, for rent. Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor's room's vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine will unto thee. Those curls will be muffin years. The room on the middle floor's taken. It's ground floor and nothing. Very well, we have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Brow Room. Lo, a Shamsbury dance to celebrate. Okay. Sure. From what I heard in court today, it sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in here with rent, too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, alright. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Gowdeb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe. Put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow. One of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines, then. Let's present some... Mr. Gerdab, can I ask you to look at this photograph? Is that your son with you there? No, not all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross. A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. The young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, and Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs for the Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Yes, Duncan Ross, young chap, was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago after the criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe, yes. Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning after about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trickle watch in the gas lamps to see what my lodgers were up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Smell of gas alerted me, it was. Ah, yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. Once we got inside, we all bodily collapsed.
Because of the gas?
Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed.
So Mr. Ross suffocated to death.
That's rough. Of course, police gave me a sound of ticking off because the gas pipes are so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it set me back. I've had the place replaced all over the house.
But even after you had all the work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. If the stove goes out at night while he's asleep in bed.
Well, that's a bully curse. The convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now.
Someone's feeling defensive. Can I go back to the hospital now?
Ah, that reminds me, actually.
Yes?
About young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady.
A love letter, you mean?
Here we go. Yes, where'd I put it now? Ah, here it is, left on the desk. If you'll excuse me. Let me see now, what does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Do you think we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence?
My dear Mr. Sato, this is precisely why I prefaced my reading with, if you'll excuse me.
I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes, no.
Sadly, you didn't address it, though. I've no means of delivering the thing, rather sad, really.
I see, that's going to play on my mind.
I know who it goes to.
Really, the identity of Mr. Ross' sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave all alone. Well, I suppose you're right.
Indeed, the intended recipient address is missing, however. There's a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Mr. Sholmes, please, I've already had to chastise you about this once.
My undying love to you, my clever darling. Olive Green.
Olive Green! The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged her back outside of this house 5 days ago. The victim of the last case Sasuke-san was on court for, to regain consciousness only yesterday. Is it just that her name has come up now? Just chance? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruto, whatever can this mean?
Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Susanoo. Unnecessary. But alright. Must have moved back to the hospital.
It's nice they gave me hints about where to go. Mr. Naruto, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last.
This is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves.
What is it? Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor has said I can be discharged, so I'm getting my things together. Miss Green, were you just doing? Oh, nothing, really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all. Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright. I don't really have anything else to tell you. Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can coax something out of her. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you? Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine just fell down when she did. Oh, Miss Green, are you alright? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to startle you like that. No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. How do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room.
It was a very personal letter to you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan, a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved? Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding. That's what led him to Mr. Garrideb's. Yes, he told me he'd found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened. We're so terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. I was starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. Okay, I don't have the letter, do I? Okay. Yeah. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green. Oh yes, I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't really want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat. She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk. I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but... Would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our... Mr. Narado! Surely you are not about to leave. That's quite out of the question. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently from the shadows as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Sholmes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Soddy, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened? Instead of preventing a case before it happens. That's what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There's a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Norihado. Let us avert disaster and prevent this case from ever happening with nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You only need to look and you cannot fail to see. You can do it, Mr. Naruto. I know you can. What? What? Oh, I guess I'm supposed to... Mr. Duncan Ross. Who would ever have thought he was engaged to be married to Miss Green? To lose one beloved fiancé must be painful enough. But then Miss Green suffered an awful injury, and outside her fiancé's former lodgings, too. Fate can be very cruel sometimes. It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing with it in her hand in what can only be described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes, it may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Sholmes believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it. I was right. I think she did poison him. That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before, did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink when we arrived. You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of this scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Oh, I think it's... Oh, I was going to accuse her of being a murderer. I'm literally... I am female Sholmes. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before has spilled onto the floor, and the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Don't worry. I will attend to the mouse presently.
Oh, you poor mousey baby.
Miss Green, where are you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life?
Oh no!
Once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison.
No!
Miss Green, please talk to us.
What?
10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green. Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine? Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out when he wasn't looking. It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains. I'm afraid I don't really know, but I thought if I drink it, I might just stop the pain somehow. Oh, please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things. Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. Oh no, it's all my fault. What have I done? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection. No, none. Alright, the card. Neither the sender's name... Oh my gosh, it's the other side of the envelope! Neither the sender's name or address appears to have been written on the envelope or the card. It arrived by post at home the day before the incident that put me in the hospital here. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anyone else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th of this month? That's the day you were stabbed. And 5 p.m. is precisely the time when the incident occurred. The Slug and Salad, yes. A pub on a northern corner of Briar Road. Briar Road being the street that Mr. Garrideb's house is on. Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed, that day, when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad. Goodness! So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day. I'm sorry I didn't say anything before. Wait, I gotta show you the... No! I need to show you the envelope! I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I told you everything. Yes, I'm very sorry to have to drag up such painful memories for you. No, it's fine. Miss Green, please, promise you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but well, that's how all this has made me feel. But wait! I have the other side of your envelope! Leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. That envelope. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigative trail for today. Yes, it's late. And Mr. Nanowrimo? Did you discover anything that may be of use to you in court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspeare, Mr. Garrideb's lodgings, the convict, Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we're yet to see the heart of it, if you ask me. That's my feeling, anyway. I can't help wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean? Yes. Will they have found a strychnine in it or not? Well, I fear that either way, it'll be hard to escape the grip of our friend, Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yes, Barrack Van Zeeks. But I wish you every success, of course, and though I was late to rise this morning. Tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour and attend the trial. Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come? Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there, assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Time for the trial! London, the world's most prosperous city, home to some 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, a lonely lurk. Sokusu-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during his many months here, and so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot, to lift the curse that gripped him. And as Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn for all of us. Interesting. See you at the trial!